Hello punters and welcome to this week's edition of the Spruikers. Michael Sharkie joins me. Mick, good to see you again. How are you?
It's Norton, back from the land of Thai.
Correct.
No potassium deficiencies, I would assume?
No, nothing. Well, look, I go by the ethos that you can't catch what you've already got, so I've come back just the same as I went.
Lovely.
We're going to talk about a few of the feature races in Australia and abroad in a moment. It's coming towards the end of the racing season, but I can feel a bit of spring in the air.
There's a sniff of spring.
Despite it being the depths of winter.
Of spring, don't worry about that, Jaggy.
And before we discuss the John Monash, the Winter Stakes, and a few other things, including a few upcoming product releases by Betfair, let's catch up with all the racing news with Nat at the news desk. G'day, Nat.
Welcome back, Jakey. Australian-bred Star Spangled Banner's dream run in England has continued, with the galloper winning the July Cup at Newmarket. The victory comes a month after the 3-year-old's win at the Golden Jubilee Stakes at Royal Ascot. Racing legend Bart Cummings has been allowed to return to work following a 3-week stint in hospital with pneumonia. While Cummings isn't yet allowed out on the track, he is already gearing up for the Melbourne Cup Carnival with new stable edition and last year's Cox Plate winner So You Think, likely to kick off his spring campaign in August after battling injury during the Autumn Carnival. And that's it from me, back to you.
Thanks, Nat. I'm glad you mentioned Star Spangled Banner, and I think you may have, because you may have had some small investment on it.
Dripping in gold she was, Jake,
That's
when
right.
she walked in.
In bling.
With the grills.
Definitely talking there. Great effort by Star Spangled Banner to win the July Cup after winning at the Royal Ascot Festival as well. He started about $3.90 on Betfair after he was well below $3 on the Australian totes, and he got out to $15 in the run on Betfair as well. So pretty good, amazing effort considering he was in the first 2 or 3 for the entire race. It's a rarity, but it goes to show that betting on Betfair is a very lucrative thing at times. Now let's move to back to the local scene, the John Monash Stakes. We mentioned earlier that there's a feeling of spring in the air. The Monash to me is always a sign that spring is just around the corner. With the Liston coming up in a few weeks, the Manikato will be on our doorstep before we know it. The Monash is often a race that's won by one of the fitter horses who's been up throughout the winter though, but the 2 favourites, what we expect to be the 2 favourites in this race, will be Reward for Effort, Blue Diamond winner returning for his first run in 18 months, or not quite, 15 months or so, and Royal Ida, whose last race was in the carnival down in Tasmania. I spoke to someone from who has a connection with Royal Ida, owns a slice of that animal, and he said to me that they're expecting to win if they can beat Reward for Effort. So if Reward for Effort doesn't run,
right.
The connections of Royal Ida are confident. How do you see this race panning out?
I think if Reward for Effort comes back from his tendon tear in half the form that he was when he won the Blue Diamond, he'll pants these, but always a risk betting on horses coming off such a long layoff. Royal Ida's probably about right. His couple of jump outs at Caulfield have been good, so my spies have told me.
It goes well first up. He's on 3, I think.
Does go well first up, even though he's nearly 10 years old, or he might even be 10 years old. The South Australian Aranos, I saw him trial in Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, and he was quite impressive.
Not a trial with your horse?
No.
Honourable Kine, look out for it. It's upcoming Darwin Carnival punters.
Yeah, steer well clear.
So who are you tipping on top there? Reward for Effort if it runs?
If he runs, Reward for Effort.
Was his injury a significant one, his tendon?
6% tear to his tendon, which isn't a lot. If it was an older horse, you'd probably do a bit of the old cortisone job and patch him up and send him round, but obviously he's worth a squillion as a Blue Diamond winner with his nads intact.
But given that he is a colt,
no mistakes with him there.
Which is probably a more diplomatic way of putting it.
Probably.
Why would they bother? If it's going to be a risk, he's a Group 1 winner at 2, that's all Australian breeding cares about pretty much. What are they trying to get some more black type out of him?
If he's a stakes winner at 3,
you
can probably add some more numbers in front of the zeros there for the stud career.
So Reward for Effort and saving on Royal Ida and Aranos.
Aranos is silly odds around the $15 mark. I think he's a decent saver as well.
Throw those in your multiples, or as Shane Templeton would say, you tries these in first 4s. The Winter Stakes is the feature race at Rosehill as well. It's the other listed race of the weekend. This is a pretty open race, I think. Illuminate's last start winner will carry top weight. The few who ran behind it, Falaise Adnicon is coming down from Brisbane, And Peter Moody, who trains Reward for Effort, has sent Ghost Milk up
the
to
mighty
this race
Ghost Milk
for Sydney, who was one of the top elects in the Winter Championship last week, but was removed from that field in favour of this. Even race, might be one to pick one out who is in the market but maybe can't win to lay. How are you going to play this market, Mick?
I think if the track is heavy, if the heavens open in Sydney, I think we can back Ghost Milk with confidence. I think she's been a revelation this winter in Melbourne. The other one I'd want to back in that race would be Adnacon, just coming down from some stakes races in Queensland.
Yeah.
I think the rest, they're much of the same. You know, they seem to go around each week in these listed races, so I think we can avoid those and stick with maybe the up-and-comer and a horse coming down from better races.
And the Gerald Ryan stable, of course, in very good form, with
Flying.
among his good horses being Melito and the Colt, whose name escapes me presently, but who will be one of the feature players in the spring, Gerald Ryan. I'm going to have something on the old campaigner for Les in this race. I reckon he's an absolute beauty.
You'll be on your own there, I think.
He's run some good races this winter, and he's always been a second or third stringer from the Daly camp, and he always runs a cheeky race.
Well, I hope you get good each way value on Betfair, Jake, which I'm sure you will.
Thanks, Mick. I'll tell you in a minute whether or not he's my Betfair Big Spruik of the week. But first of all, let's get Nat's Betfair Big Spruik for the Monash Stakes weekend. Nat?
The Betfair Big Spruik.
Okay, boys, I'm staying in Melbourne with the Sir John Monash this week. Like the two of you, I'm not sure how Reward for Effort is going to go after such a large stint on the sidelines, so I'm making Arroyo Gold my Betfair Big Spruik. A bit of a roughie, so hopefully the trip over from WA hasn't taken too much out of him, but he should have no issues with the distance.
Thanks, Nat. Hopefully for you, the sea change down to Warrnambool will be beneficial for Arroyo Gold, as it has been for so many others.
Gorgeous country down there.
Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Mind you, last time we were down there, we were cross-eyed for most of our time there, so didn't get to see a great deal of...
Everything looked twice as good.
Yeah, exactly right. Mick, your Betfair Big Spruik for this weekend?
Jakey boy, I think due to the shocking field in the Winter Stakes, I think we'll back Ghost Milk and Adnacon, back them both to win. Hopefully it's a wet track, and hopefully they both run well, because the rest of them are slugs.
Okay, well I'm sticking to Melbourne in the Spring Carnival precursor, the Monash Stakes. It's my favourite listed race of July.
Now your favourite race?
Yep.
Oh,
That's
geez,
right.
I really forgot about that.
I think I'm going to have something on Royal Ida, the old consistent
The old
campaigner. I think Reward for Effort is a risk, as we discussed earlier, and I think Royal Ida should run a very good race at the each way quote. Also, punters, keep your eyes peeled for some new products on Betfair, which will make it the complete, it'd be punter's paradise, in fact, Mick. Let you know more about that in the next few weeks. Mick, thanks for joining me.
Not a problem,
Good
Jack.
luck to Ghost Milk and everything you've selected today.
And to fillets.
I bet I'm sitting here this time next week
I bet you are too.
with a cheeky grin on my face.
Yeah,
With Fillets
yeah.
having run a cheeky third. And,
It's
at
about as
$3.90.
well as I'm going at the moment too, so no doubt.
See you next week, punters.